Reading the poetry of Emilia Lanier, Salve Deus Rex. It has a dedication to the Queen. It starts out, Queen, to the Queen, most excellent Majesty, renowned Empress and great British Queen, most gratuitous mother of succeeding kings. Vouchsafe to view that which is seldom seen at late women's writing of divinest things. Seldom seen, that's women's writing of divinest things. Read it, fair queen. Though it defective be, your excellence can grace both it and me. There. It would help to have the queen supported. For you have rifled nature of her store, and all the goddesses have besetteth of those rich gifts which they enjoyed before her, but now, great queen, in you that they all do rest, if now they strived for the golden ball, Paris would give it you before them all. From Uno you have state and dignities, from warlike Pallas wisdom, fortitude, and from fair Venus all her excellencies with the best parts your highness is induced. How much are we to honor those that springs from such rare beauty in the blood of kings? The muses do attend upon your throne with all the artists at your beck and call, the sylvan gods and satyrs, every one, before your fair triumphant chariot fall, and shining Cynthia with her nymphs attend to honor you, whose honor hath no end. From your bright sphere of greatness where you sit, reflecting light to all those glorious stars that wait upon your throne, to virtue yet vouchsafe that splendor which not my meanness bars. Be like fair Phoebe, who doth love to grace the darkest night with her most beauteous face. Apollo's beams do comfort every creature, and shines upon the meanest things that be, since in estate and virtue none is greater. I humbly wish that yours may light on me, that so these through the polished lines of mine, graced by you, may seem the most more divine. Look in this mirror of a worthy mind, where some of your fair virtues will appear, though all it is impossible to find, unless my glass were crystal, or more clear, which is dim steel, yet full of spotless truth, and for one look from your fair eyes its sooth. Here may your sacred majesty behold the mighty monarch both of heaven and earth, he that all nations of the world controlled, yet took their flesh in base and meanest birth, whose days were spent in poverty and sorrow, and yet all kings their wealth of him do borrow. For he is crown and crowner of all kings, the hopeful heaven of the meaner sort. It is he that all our joyful tidings brings of happier reign upon his royal court. He is he that in extremity can do comfort to them that have no time to lose. And since my wealth within this region stands, and that his cross my comfortless comfort is, yea, in his kingdom now rest my lands of honor. There I hope I shall not miss, though I on earth do live unfortunate, yet there I may attain a better state in the meantime. Accept, most gracious queen, this holy work virtue presents to you in poor apparel, shaming to be seen. Or once I appeared in your indecent view, but that fair virtue, though in mean attire, all princes of the world do most desire. And sith all royal virtues are in you, the natural, the moral, and the divine, I hope. How plain. Sooner, being true, you will accept even the meanest line. Fair virtue yields by those whose rare gifts you are. So highly graced, I exceed the fairest fair. Behold, great queen, fair Uno's apologies, which I have writ in honor of your sex, and do refer unto your majesty to judge if it agree not with the text, and if it do, why are poor women blamed, or by more faulty men so much defamed? And this great lady I have here attired in all the richest ornaments of honor, that you, fair queen, of all the world admired, may take the more delight to look upon her, for she must entertain you to this feast, to which your highness is the welcomest guest. For here I have prepared my Pascal Blambe, the figure of that living sacrifice who, dying, all the infernal powers overcome, that we with him to eternity might rise. This prettiest Passover fed upon, O Queen, let your fair virtues in my glass be seen. And she that is the pattern of all beauty, the very model of your majesty, whose rarest parts enforce love and duty, perfect pattern of all piety. Oh, let my book by her fair heirs be blessed, in whose pure thoughts all innocency rest. Then shall I think my glass a glorious sky, when two such glittering suns at once appear, the one replete with the sovereign majesty, both shining brighter than the clearer, and both reflecting comfort to my spirits, to find the grace so much about my merits, whose overturned voice the doleful notes doth sing of sad affliction in an humble strain, much like unto a bird that wants a wing, and cannot fly, but wobbles forth her pain. Or he that barred from the sun's bright light wanting days, comfort doth come into the night, so I, that line closed up in sorrow's cell, since great Eliza favored, bless my youth, in the confines of all cares do dwell, whose grieved eyes no pleasure e'er viewed, but in Christ's suffering such a sweet taste they have, as makes me praise pale sorrow and the grave. And this great lady, whom I love and honor, and from my very tender years have known, this holy habit still take upon her, till to remain the same and still her own. And what our fortunes do enforce us to, she of devotion and mere zeal doth do. Which makes me think our heavy burden light, when such a one as she will help to bear it, treading the paths that make our way go right. What garment is so fair that she may wear it, especially for her that entertains a glorious queen, in whom all worth remains, whose power may raise my sad, dejected muse from this low mansion of a troubled mind, whose princely favor may such grace infuse, that I may spread her virtues in like kind. But in the trial of my slender skill I wanted knowledge to perform my will. For even as they that do behold the stars, not with the ear of learning, but of sight, to find their motions want of knowledge bars, though they see them in their brightest light. So though I see the glory of her state, it's she that must instruct and elevate my weak, distempered brain and feeble spirits, which all unlearned have adventured this, to write of Christ and of his sacred merits, desiring that this book her hands may kiss. And though I be unworthy of that grace, yet let her blessed thoughts this book embrace. And pardon me, fair queen, though I presume to do that which so better can. Not that I learning to myself assume, or that I would compare with any man, but as they are scholars, and by art do write, so nature yields my soul a sad delight. And since all arts at first from nature came, that goodly creature, mother of perfection, whom I've almighty hands at first did frame, taking both her and hers in her protection, why should not she now grace my barren muse, and in a woman all defects excuse? So peerless princess, humbly I desire that your wisdom would vouchsafe to omit all faults and pardon if my spirits retire, leaving to earn what they can't hit, to write your worth which no pen can express, but but eclipse your fame and make it less. We're reading from Emilia Lanier, and she's in the beginning part of her, one of the first English woman poets. She's writing, addressing the Queen of England, Elizabeth I, as a sort of a, for Salve, reading from this poem, Emilia Lanier. She is the suspected Dark Lady of the Shakespeare sonnets. She's Venetian and maybe dark.
Venetian Greek.
Venetian Greek. Huh? What are you talking about? Huh?
Oh, yeah.
How do you know that? The website is illuminariumorg.org. We got the full text of her poem. This is one of the first published poems in England, 1611, of an English woman poet, friends with Shakespeare, no less. And here she's praising Queen Elizabeth, reading from Emilia Lanier. Emilia Lanier.